One man has hot takes he's posted to Twitter about this very topic. One man has no ideas whatsoever what the hell is happening. Together, they're going to make an inane podcast. Watch on and be amazed. Hello everyone, my name is Tom, otherwise known as Titanium Legman, and while we normally do game guides, let's plays, things like that, I do like to do a little bit of an annual roundup of the Game Awards, what's being nominated, what maybe has gotten snubbed, and while I haven't seen any of the nominations yet myself, we're recording this the night that they were announced, my good friend Canadia here has seen them and has apparently already been getting into fights on Twitter about it. So this is going to make for...
I didn't know you were going to bring that up right in the intro. That was funny.
How could I not? How could I not? It was like the first thing you said to me as soon as we got on. The idea today is that we're going to be going through here and checking out all of these nominations and seeing what exactly has been nominated, what has not been nominated, discussing those issues, and then I'll go through and discussing through with Canadia, vote on what I feel like suits each category. He, of course, will be doing his own voting, but I'm not technologically savvy enough to set up a podcast where we can simultaneously see what we both have going on for voting while we talk about it. So you'll have to deal. It is definitely impossible. Listen, I can't even get multi-streaming to YouTube and Twitch to work all right. I can't go any more advanced than what we've got going on right now. Also, just for those of you who might be wondering, wait, weren't these guys supposed to have a second episode of a different podcast thing that never came out?
Right.
That is absolutely happening. The second half of the Fixing Fire Emblem discussion that Canadian I did way too long ago now. But, you know, I went to Japan for almost 2 weeks, and then immediately thereafter was surprised by an unexpected, opportune move to a nicer apartment with my girlfriend. So I've been kind of busy, but
yeah, I've been busy. That one's like more editing time than what this will be anyway.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So when you see this first, don't be concerned. I've literally been in the editing program multiple times the last few days, getting the second episode of Fixing Fire Emblem set up. It will be up soon. I won't put a definitive time on it because that seems to curse it, but soon. Soon, TM.
Very soon.
Yes, absolutely. So yes, Canadia, thank you for joining me. This was actually your idea to do this tonight, so thank you for the suggestion. I think it's going to be a fun time.
Yeah, I figured it was coming up, and it's like, it's always hard to get our thoughts out while the award show's going, because like so much is just getting flashed at us with trailers and just very, very quick awards.
So yeah, this is a nice way to kind of get into the awards season. I know not everyone cares about these types of things, but as people who enjoy gaming as the art form that it is, including all the design efforts and overall artistic efforts that go into it, I think it's worth discussing at the very least. So
we want to see the games we love get the recognition.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's always controversial what gets nominated and what doesn't, but I think it's important because games that get that level of recognition oftentimes will inspire other similar games, and that is not nothing. Like, that is something that is worth considering. So like it or not, I think the Game Awards are an important aspect of things here. So what we're going to be doing, how this is going to work is, as you can see, I've got in the background the Game Awards site up. And don't worry, I know our PNG tubers are slightly in the way, but through the power of the scroll wheel, they won't be anymore. So we're going to go through from, I'm going to say least important to most important, because all the esports stuff is tacked on at the end.
There is.
We'll see what all the nominations are. We will vote on everything, discuss, etc. So now that said, before we get into the voting, Canadia, before the show started, you proposed a little bit of a discussion that I think is worth having. So you want to intro that?
Yeah, it was recently announced, like right before the nominations came out, that they were going to, for the first time ever, include DLC expansions that could be eligible for awards. It's a very recent change that everyone has been calling out as, you're just doing this for Elden Ring, aren't you?
Yes, and you wanted to get my opinion on that, and of course share your own as well. And I do have some thoughts. I want to start off with that exact statement, though, because I've seen that statement a lot. Obviously, it's the obvious reason, but I want to call back to last year when we were having the discussion, and a lot of people were having the discussion, should Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty potentially be up for Game of the Year? Because
didn't that win an award?
I think it got best ongoing game, and people were even pissed about
Right.
that, which is a whole separate discussion, and I get that.
Yeah.
But I think this is something that's been in discussion for longer than people realize before Shadow of the Erd Tree came out and blew everyone's socks off, right? Because
People pointed out that like The Witcher Blood and Wine won like best RPG
yeah,
like years ago.
absolutely.
And that kind of broke their own rule.
And I think it shows that there is some actual legs to the discussion of should a sizable enough expansion to a game, not just DLC, because DLC, encompasses a much wider range of things. A proper expansion, like we used to get a lot back in the day, that's a very different beast. Like, you think about StarCraft versus StarCraft Brood War. Brood War was literally a sequel, just as an expansion to the base game. And everyone considers it as such. So I think even going all the way back then, there is actually a discussion to be had here. Now, before I get into my specific thoughts on it, since you brought up the topic, why don't you tell us what you think, Canadia? Where do you fall on this?
I think like Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree is like that is enough content for a full-fledged game. Like compared to Elden Ring, it's less, but probably compared to any other Souls game, it's about equal in how much content is in there. But it is still using like the same engine, and like you access it through the game. You have to buy Elden Ring to actually play it. All those factors and stuff. I still think there's like enough content there, but ultimately, I think it should be in its own DLC category and not in the spot where other like new games, full individual, you can buy them and play the whole thing. You don't need to have another game to access it.
Right.
I think those should have the spotlight here.
Okay. That's fair. As a follow-up to that, before I get into my thoughts specifically, I don't know if you remember, I'm sure if neither of us does, people in the comments will. Has any expansion for an MMO been in discussion for Game of the Year? Specifically, most likely it would be for World of Warcraft or for Final Fantasy XIV.
Not to my memory. I've watched all these over the years, but like I don't recall that ever happening. Usually it would be like best ongoing game, and then it would be like Final Fantasy XIV and Walker or something.
Right. So then the question becomes, would you count that in the same category as a major expansion like this, or Brood War, or Phantom Liberty, or XCOM 2 War of the Chosen, which are like some of the more prominent examples of game, like expansions that completely revolutionized a game that were single releases and could technically be like their own major release in their own right.
Or even something like a new region for Genshin Impact or something.
Sure, yeah.
Like, that's not sold. That's in like a free game, but
Yeah, but I think the
I
same
think those should
design
all be
philosophy
like
is there.
in their own like extra content, downloadable content category thing.
Separate from ongoing, right?
Yeah.
I would agree. That's kind of where I was thinking as well, because like then ongoing would become super bloated, and things that are MMOs, live service things, whatever, that maybe put out content that does deserve recognition would then be vying for like expansions or vying against expansions and stuff, so it'd be weird. Okay. I get where your thought process is here. It largely lines up with mine. Now, I think the big thing, and that's what you were first discussing with Shadow of the Erd Tree, is sheer content size coupled with, in my opinion, innovation, right? Because I don't like the idea of being like, it's in the same engine or whatever. Like, oh yeah, a lot of games are made in the same engine as like their predecessors or whatever. That doesn't preclude it from being a like new game experience necessarily, just because you put it in a different box and called it a sequel, right?
Yeah.
So I think the main hinge point is that Shadow of the Erd Tree requires you to have the base game. Same thing with Phantom Liberty. That's what makes them expansions. But when those expansions are oftentimes much larger and more feature complete than fully fledged games, some of which maybe, I don't know, again, I haven't seen the nominations, but some of which might be bigger than other full-fledged standalone games that were nominated alongside them, I think the artistic effort and the development effort that goes into making those expansions should, on a case-by-case basis, make them potentially eligible for Game of the Year.
See, that's where I kind of disagree. I don't think like we should not acknowledge just like FromSoft spent 2 years on this, and they worked really hard, and they put a ton of work into it, and it's like it's a full game's worth of stuff. But I think with how it's like released, I think it should be categorized outside of new games entirely.
Fair. Now, the thing that I say might push it a little bit further than that is the fact that there's a lot of mechanical development as well, like the whole Shadow Tree fragments and different like fragments and things that change the way leveling worked, adding a bunch of new weapon types and weapon arts and changing enemy scaling and things like that. Those are things that you don't typically see in an expansion nowadays.
It kind of opens Pandora's box of just like, okay, well, how much DLC can be classified as like a new game now?
Right.
If you add new weapons or new like
full mechanical development. Because like, yeah, it's like, okay, new weapons, new skills, new enemies, new bosses. Like that's the type of thing that you would normally expect, and like that can be a really hearty offering. But when you get down
like,
to
what if all that stuff was just plopped in the world of Elden Ring that existed already, you know?
And that would be completely different.
Yeah. That
would be completely different, but the effort that went into it to make it its own thing, connected as it is, makes me wonder. Again, I think back, and I've been thinking about this a lot today, to the idea of StarCraft Brood War. And I actually don't know, I don't remember if you needed to own StarCraft 1 to be able to play Brood War. I don't think you did, which is an interesting aspect to this discussion. But
yeah, I think if it's like an individual thing, like a lot of people pointed out Xenoblade Chronicles had like a standalone expansion thing last year, and they're like, nope. But then this year,
did you need to own Chronicles in any way to have that DLC?
Yeah, I think that one. Yeah, that one didn't get sold separately. Xenoblade 2 did have one where you could just buy it on like its own Switch cart.
Interesting. Okay.
And that was like that game's expansion. But they released Xenoblade 3s as like part of the season pass thing. But you didn't need to make any progress in Xenoblade 3 to actually play it. But you didn't need to own it.
Interesting.
It's all these weird access circumstances, you know?
Well, and I think that's what makes this an interesting discussion, right? So I think that's why now, beyond Jeff Keighley's obvious love of Miyazaki and the overall love of Elden Ring and Miyazaki in the general gaming sphere, I'm not ignoring that, trust me. But I think because of the level of effort and like expansion and innovation on the existing formula of Elden Ring that went into Shadow of the Erdtree, I think that's why they feel they can finally open Pandora's box with this, after the conversation has already started in the past with other major expansions. I think that's why we're here. And so, overall, I feel that expansions should be potentially eligible for Game of the Year. But again, it needs to be on a case-by-case basis. Not every expansion to a game is going to be worthy of or should be eligible for Game of the Year. There's plenty of people that can argue, as you are, and I think you have a lot of good points, that Shadow of the Erdtree maybe doesn't quite reach that point. I think it does, but...
Well, people can put in the comments what they think, too.
Oh, absolutely. But I think it's that type of individual basis that we need to look at here, and in that case, we should absolutely be able to consider expansions for Game of the Year. Anything else should absolutely have its own category, though. That should be something that they need to look at doing. Alongside, not lumped into ongoing game, alongside ongoing game.
Yeah, I think like putting it in a DLC category would help, because then you don't get all these all this bickering, all this
sure
people saying, oh, it's favoritism towards From Software and all this stuff. Because then even if they do win, it's gonna be like, oh well, they were just this was rigged just for them, kind of
We've said that about every game that's ever won Game of the Year, though. That's nothing new.
Different one. I like it.
Of course, exactly. And not for nothing, but when has any major change to any major institution not come alongside massive amounts of bickering and infighting and mudslinging? So, I think at the end of the day, it is a conversation that is worth having, and I'm glad that we are having it, because we have had multiple instances now where the fact that people are even questioning, should this be up for Game of the Year, means it is something that's worth considering.
The thing that I posted on Twitter, though,
Oh, yes.
I found this really funny, and then a lot of people found what I said not that funny.
Oh, no.
I had seen some people, like, upset that, spoilers, Persona 3 Reload did not get any nominations.
Ah, okay. I mean, that's like, isn't that like just a remaster, basically?
Yeah, okay, so I said, this is like quotes, as if I'm, like, straw manning here, but Elden Ring's DLC shouldn't have been nominated. It's a DLC. Anyway, I think Persona 3, a game from 18 years ago, should have been nominated instead, because...
I see. I can see how this would trigger some people, yes.
There's a reason why I didn't buy Persona 3 Reload. It's because I already played it like a decade ago. It's Persona 3, guys. It's not a new game.
It's not adding enough.
But I had so many people coming at me like, no, it is a new game. Because it's a game that you can buy and it's new. It's a new game. They had to rebuild it from the ground up.
So, to put this in context that my extremely based turn-based strategy RPG pilled brain can understand, it's not
Tactics Ogre.
It's not like a let us clean together to Reborn type of situation.
Well, okay, it's Persona 3, but they made it in Unreal Engine, and it's got all new graphics, but I don't know, I would put it in the same category as like Metroid Prime Remastered.
So like, it's just like graphics.
There's some
it's not
tweaks to like the gameplay, but it's not that significant compared to something like, you know, Resident Evil 2, Silent Hill 2.
Well, yeah, those are very significant.
Final Fantasy 7, but I've had people coming at me saying like, well, why aren't you saying about that about Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth? And I'm like, are you insane?
Yeah, exactly. Because again, like to me, Tactics Ogre Reborn is a very different game than Let Us Clean Together. That's why I rated it much higher on my tier list than I did Let Us Clean Together, because they changed a bunch of stuff mechanically, as well as like revamping all of the visuals and all of the audio and adding voice acting that never existed before, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, we recorded the voice acting for Persona 3 Reload as well, but
did they? But that that's not
wouldn't
nearly
nominate Tactics Ogre for Game of the Year or something, would you?
I mean,
no, it's just the same old game.
I probably would. Not gonna lie.
I know you would because you love it, but like.
Well, so here's the thing, right? And we probably shouldn't tangent for too much longer, but
yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine. It's part of the discussion. I think there's a big difference between if you're looking at P3R specifically and Tactics Ogre Reborn in terms of like P3R had voice acting and they re-recorded it. Tactics Ogre has never had voice acting ever.
Yeah.
So that's a huge change to make on top of...
This is like a whole new voice cast and everything.
Sure, but it's a feature that the game had before.
Yeah.
That is not the case with Tactics Ogre. So I think that distinction helps to lend credence to the it's a different game than the previous version type of thing.
I think it's just funny because we just came off discussing like Elden Ring and how much work went into that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how much content is there. And then I've had dozens of people coming at me telling me, no, that's not that much content. Persona 3, it's just the same thing again.
Yes.
They made all that original new content. That's a whole game there.
Definitely,
like, what?
Definitely no bias from the Persona fans here whatsoever.
Yeah.
We have to get into the main topic here. So, yes, obviously we saved the worst for first here. Best esports team. I don't know who any of these people are. Actually, I do know who Team Liquid is. Going back to the StarCraft conversation, they were big StarCraft guys back in the day who I used to follow. So,
they're Dota.
Oh, I just realized I have to sign in to vote. One moment, technical difficulties. Okay, we're back. I've signed in. I'm now legally allowed to vote. So,
you weren't before.
With that in mind, I'm voting for Team Liquid just because of StarCraft things.
I know who that is. Okay, I'm skipping this one.
Well, moving right along, we have best esports game.
Esports game. I'll play any of these.
I mean, I will literally never vote for League of Legends for anything because, God,
Why not?
I've spent so much time playing League. I talked about it in my video that came out tonight, and I don't ever want to vote for it for anything.
Mobile Legends, bang bang.
What in the good goddamn is Mobile Legends Bang Bang? What the hell? I've never heard of this. What slop is this?
Bang bang.
What in the good? I'm voting for Counter-Strike because it seems
A
like the
bow and
only thing
arrow
that
doesn't go
deserves it.
bang. That's ridiculous.
That, as a certified archery instructor, I am saying false advertising on this one. Remove it. Get Moonton out of here. All right, we need to get to things that we can
content
actually
creator.
discuss.
This one's fun.
Who do we have here? Queso. Oh, I actually know who Queso is.
A bunch of guys with beards and Sada Pecora.
Oh my god! I didn't even see that at first. I love that Queso's picture is just him outside a Waffle House. That is phenomenal. That is some true
That is
aura.
funny compared to all these like professionally done photos.
Yeah. That is absolutely top tier. Elo
I just know
won.
in my heart, out of all the people that have brought me joy and funny clips and stuff that I've seen, it's Pecora. Come on.
I mean that's absolutely fair. I've never watched a VTuber. Like,
But you've seen her.
Well, I know who she is. And that's what I was about to say. I've never watched a VTuber except like twice with Jane when she was watching one do art streams, and yet I've been quoted many times on stream and in videos as saying Pain Pecco. So, yeah, as much as
these other guys are.
As much as Queso's photo has incredible aura, and I have actually laughed at some of his stuff too, I gotta give it to the Pecco. Gotta do it. Next up, we have most anticipated games. Things we can actually discuss. Things that matter.
Yeah.
All right.
Games.
All right. So I know you're gonna. I know which one it is for you, but there's at least one that's a contender. So tell me why.
I'm really excited for Death Stranding, but
yeah,
Prime 4 has been so like Death Stranding didn't fucking exist. Prime 4 has been such a long wait.
And there we go. That's the reaction I was looking for. So I know you're voting for Prime 4.
Yeah.
I literally could not give a quarter of a rat's ass about the Grand Theft Auto series. I never have. I never will. Oh, I know it will.
I know it's gonna win.
I know it absolutely is.
The like YouTube chat on any of the Game Awards things, like it's just the words GTA 4 or GTA 6
over and over. Yeah. No, believe me, I know that it is, but you ready for probably what's going to be the hottest take of this entire podcast from me?
Rockstar sucks.
Well, that, but
They do.
I truly think that the amount of money and effort that they're putting into making the next Grand Theft Auto is not just an affront to gaming as an entire experience and culture and business, but just an affront to spending in general. The world would be a better place if less money was being put into the creation of Grand Theft Auto 6. There are so many things that would be better for the human experience, real, physically, in this world than the existence of this game. And all of you who are obviously definitely watching this, who are huge Grand Theft Auto fans, because that's obviously the viewer base that I have. But any of you who do happen to be watching this, who get triggered by this, eat me. I don't care. And that's my hot take.
Think of the entertainment it will give people over the next decade of re-releases, Tom.
Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, well, it's going to be more like 3 decades, because they're not going to be able to put out another one of these anytime soon.
Death Stranding 2 looks really good.
Yeah, personally, for me, it has to be Death Stranding 2. Even though I haven't finished Death Stranding 1 yet, it's
so good.
Oh, I know. It's just such an incredible experience, and I love just what Kojima does with his games. I'm absolutely hyped for Metroid Prime 4 as well, even though I've only played the first one. But for me, it's got to be Death Stranding 2. It's just the fact that the first one exists, let alone a sequel, is a miracle. So, yeah, it's got to be that. Also, I've literally never played Ghost of Tsushima. I know it's good. I'm sure people are excited for Ghost of GOTY. But
Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter is Monster Hunter. It's good stuff.
I've tried Monster Hunter.
I've always fallen off of it. That's, yep.
Me too.
Okay.
Well, that's bad. It's just,
It is what it is, and it should speak to my little loot goblin heart that loves Destiny. I think I've just always gotten into it at the wrong time. But Moving on to best adaptation, we have three good things. One thing I've literally heard no one talk about, and one thing that, from everything I've heard, is slop. So, first
Wait,
off,
which one's which?
I've literally never heard anyone talk about Tomb Raider: The Legend of Lara Croft, and I've heard everyone say that Like a Dragon Yakuza is god awful. So,
yeah, I haven't heard good things. I haven't heard good things about Knuckles either.
see, I haven't actually heard anything about it. I just knew
I heard
it
he's like
existed.
barely in it, and it's mostly the humans.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So we have two good options here.
Any of these, so.
Oh boy. Well, I mean, Arcane. The first season was phenomenal. I've not seen part 2 yet because I'm waiting until all of part 2 is actually out. Fallout Season 1 was fucking incredible, and it had no right to be as good as it was, but it was. So
Really, that was really good.
It's absolutely incredible. Like, as a longtime fan of the Fallout games, it was one of those rare moments where it's like I'm watching a game, like I'm watching a Let's Play of a Fallout game, except it's a live action show. It was insane. I cannot believe how good it was. So, just
I've heard a lot of people say that about Arcane too.
Yeah. And again, Arcane Season 1 was
no, just the new season.
No. I know. But I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
Arcane Season 1 was like that, and I had absolutely zero doubts that Arcane Season 2 would be exactly the same in that regard.
So which one are you voting for?
I'm voting for Fallout. I can't vote for Arcane Season 2. They should have that here. I haven't seen it. I can't vote for it, so I have to vote for Fallout. It deserves it, but I mean, we both know Arcane is going to win. Let's be honest here. Okay, best multiplayer. I realize I should probably be reading out the descriptions here. For outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences, irrespective of game genre or platform. So, we have COD Blop 6. We have Helldivers 2. We've got Super Mario Party Jamboree, Tekken 8, and, of course, my baby, Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. That's what's getting voted for. We can discuss, but Space Marine 2 is getting my vote. Absolutely.
I don't have much to discuss. I haven't really played any of these.
Okay. Well,
Mario Party looks okay, but it's like it's always a freaking asset flip. Like,
well, yeah, I mean,
just added more characters.
Yeah. The reason that I'm voting for... Well, yeah, exactly. And so that's the two that I've played here are Space Marine 2 and Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2 was a lot of fun, but has had a lot of meta issues, obviously, with like the studio and PSN and nerfs and buffs and yada, yada, yada. Whereas Space Marine 2 has been golden from the jump, and while it has less overall content, that content is so finely honed into a distilled gaming adaptation of the world of 40k in every single way that even just playing PvP, regular old, like, Loyalist Marines against Chaos Marines, has been some of the most engaging multiplayer that I have had the opportunity to enjoy in years. Like, I have multiple hours a week since Space Marine 2 came out has been spent just in PvP for me. Like, we're talking like old school Halo lobbies, like hopping in, people in like open voice chat yelling at each other, just playing. Like, there's 3 maps, 6 classes, and 3 game modes, and it has been a joy every step of the way. So
I feel like Helldivers is probably gonna win.
Most likely, yeah.
That happened, like what you were describing. That probably happened to like more people in Helldivers 2 when it was like in its heyday. And it was, like, really popping off.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And having like a pure cooperative just shooter thing is sort of rare versus just like multiplayer, like just competitive multiplayer.
Well, yeah, because now it's all competitive multiplayer. Like, I can't think of this genre, the Fortnite genre. I can't think of what it's called right now.
Battle Royale.
Yeah, Battle Royale. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like, that's been the thing for so long, right? So just having like a proper co-op shoot 'em up, that's a ton of fun. And I did have that same experience in Helldivers 2, which didn't last the way that Space Marine 2 has for me. So you're right.
Tekken's fine. Black Ops is probably fine.
It's a blops. I can't care. It's a blops. Its name is the sound that a turd hitting the toilet water is. Like,
damn.
I have no respect for that franchise whatsoever, even if this particular
We're
game
gonna
is
recognize
good.
the hardworking people that worked on these games.
Listen, man, I can recognize the people while knowing that the franchise that they are developing is generally slop. Blop slop, if you will.
You know what really bugged me about this? Whenever Jeff would say Warhammer, he would say Warhammer 40,000.
Oh, yeah. That...
It's like that fucking Inglorious Bastards meme where the guy has the 3 fingers up, and it's like, yeah?
So, there's sadly a reason for that I can actually explain. Games Workshop has been doing, which is the developers behind Warhammer, if you didn't know, have been, for the last 5 years or so, desperately trying to stop people from saying Warhammer 40K.
Oh, really?
The proper, official, trademarked, licensed phrase is Warhammer 40,000.
That is so boring and lame.
Yes, it is. But they had a lot of trademark issues in the past, so it's like there's a reason that like Space Marines are not called Space Marines most of the time anymore. They're called the Adeptus Astartes. They need to have all these trademarkable names, and like for whatever reason, I guess couldn't or didn't want to trademark Warhammer 40K specifically, so it is now Warhammer 40,000.
Anyway.
I didn't even hear what you said. I'm sorry.
I just said trademark both idiots.
Well, I mean, yeah. I'm wondering if there's a reason that they couldn't trademark 40K.
Yeah.
But being, the good line-walking corporate guy that he is, I'm sure
Jeff,
Keighley was very on top
that
of
totally
saying,
explains it.
Yeah, the proper name. So.
Warhammer 40,000, Genshin Impact.
Well, I mean, yeah, that one, Jesus. Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, here we go. Real shit.
It's my time, and I see what is going to win here. So, best sim strategy, best game focused on real-time or turn-based simulation or strategy gameplay, irrespective of platform. Well, boy, howdy, you've come to the right place. I feel like Age of Mythology Retold probably shouldn't be on here. I haven't played it yet, but like everything, my entire understanding was that
same thing we were just saying about Persona.
It's like. It seems like it is just...
Don't worry, we'll get more of that later.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. Like, I haven't heard anything about it being innovative from its previous version, the way things like Tactics Ogre Reborn are, but maybe I'm just not informed. I don't know. Yeah. But so Age of Mythology Retold, Frostpunk 2, which I have heard good things about. Kinotsugami, Path of the Goddess, I didn't realize was a strategy or sim game? What the hell?
Yeah, I heard that one was, like, actually kind of fun. Like old forgotten PS2 kind of game.
Right. Well, I remember when we first saw it was announced. It looked really
you
cool.
like deploy units and like.
I just didn't realize it was like a sim thing.
Defense or whatever with them. I don't know.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Manor Lords, I do of course know a lot of people really enjoy, but
Unicorn.
Well, we have to talk about the GOAT.
It is not just the best strategy game of the year. It is
the game of the
games of the
It is the game of the year, without any question. I'm probably going to be doing a video about that before the end of the year and kind of rolling it into my overall review that I haven't done yet.
Well, for me, it's like tied for first, but we'll get to that.
Okay, fair enough. There's been a lot of good games. I mean, that's fair, but there's been a lot of good games for me this year. Absolutely. A lot of things I've really, really enjoyed. Honestly, it's a bit of a shame. I know it came out pretty late for starting to figure this stuff out, but like I would love to be able to see Metal Slug Tactics on here somewhere because I've been absolutely obsessed with that.
Yeah, as well. Where's that? Like, come on.
It's really, really good, man. But of these options, and I mean, Unicorn Overlord would still be Metal Slug Tactics, no doubt, but... Yeah. Unicorn Overlord is an absolute masterpiece from top to bottom, and I don't just say that because it's been one of the best things for the channel. Like, it is just a phenomenal title. Incredible voice acting.
Yeah, it's gonna go down in history as like one to just play over and over.
Oh, no doubt about that. I mean, there's a reason that I've played the game 3 times already since it came out. Like, Unicorn Overlord absolutely takes the vote. It is by far the best game that's been released this year.
It's funny that you said like you've played a lot of games this year and they've all been good though, because I've been making an effort, like an honest effort this year to play like a bunch of like the big games and games that I was like really interested in, and to like play them before the end of the year and stuff. And they've all kind of disappointed me in one way or another. Like most of them have had like that one little element that I'm like, I wish that was a bit better. That kind of let me down. Unicorn Overlord is like one of those like, no, it's just rock solid. Everything is great.
Well, I mean, that's the power of the passion project, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's one of those things where Vanillaware, they put everything into this. They, like, literally nearly bankrupted themselves. They've been working on it for, like, a decade. Like, not in a, oh, it's in development hell kind of way, but just we need to make every minute detail exactly what our vision of it is and make it come to life. And
Very
you can feel
rare
it.
to see devs operate like they do.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah, no, Unicorn Overlord is perfect from start to finish. I will brook no arguments. And if it's not up for Game of the Year, which I know it's not going to be, but I will still be very upset. Okay, so moving on to Best Fighting, of course. Best game design primarily around head-to-head combat. Well, I've only played one of these. It's Dragon Ball Sparking Zero.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is really, really good. And as the only thing that I've played, it's going to be what gets my vote. But do you have any discussion around this particular category?
I probably would have voted for Grand Blue Fantasy Versus because all my friends that are into fighting games have just been talking about how amazing it is and how they've been playing it nonstop since it came out like way early in the year.
Okay, fair enough.
Like it's still relevant even now, which is crazy.
Okay.
Marvel vs. Capcom is a really old game.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that that's on here.
Fuck. And Multiversus won in 2022 for Best Fighting Game.
Oh, did it really? I forgot about that.
Yeah, the early access version. So what the hell is it doing here again? Get out of here.
Well,
That's
I guess
bullshit.
it's like...
I'm saying that's bullshit.
I guess the idea is because, like, it wasn't just in early access. It was in early access. It was, like, canceled and then relaunched. So I don't know how much that changed things, but...
I don't care. It already won. Like, I know there's not, like, a ton of fighting games right now, but, like, it already won Best Fighting Game.
Fair enough.
And that's just up for the award again.
Wait.
Stupid.
Didn't the new Mortal Kombat come out this year?
I think that was last year.
Was it? Was it like tail end of last year?
Maybe.
I know it's not been super well received, so that could also be why it wasn't up here, even if it did come out this year, but I kind of felt like it would be.
At least there's not something like Sifu here again, which is not a fighting game at all.
Yeah, that was so stupid, man.
I know.
Good lord. Okay, moving on. We have best RPG. Okay.
To pick with this one.
This is interesting. Okay. Yeah, best game design with rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences, which notably are not on here. But
Yeah.
So, okay. I mean, I've only played one, and it's Shadow of the Erd Tree. Granted, I haven't even finished that yet.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you count the demo of Rebirth, then like sure, there's that, and it was a really good demo. But there's definitely a lot of play here. I mean, I know a lot of people who loved Dragon's Dogma 2. I know everyone loved Infinite Wealth. Obviously, everyone is just, like destroying their jorts over Shadow of the Erd Tree.
There's metaphor of a dash before it. What the hell?
Oh, that is weird, huh? Is it supposed to, or is that just a typo?
No, it doesn't.
Interesting, huh?
Typo. Yeah, Elden Ring, I've 100%. I've played through it multiple times. It's all right. It's not FromSoft's best, in my opinion. Rebirth, I beat. It was also a little disappointing. Like the game itself is great, but the story I had problems with. Metaphor was also like it's a good RPG, but then I didn't like the story that much. My thing here is just Dragon's Dogma, Elden Ring, and Final Fantasy, they feel more like action games than RPGs. Like, I know they're action combat, like, you can level up, they have stats and stuff. It feels weird calling them RPGs next to, turn-based ones like Infinite Wealth and Fantasia.
Yeah, but that's a discussion that I've always been really against. I think action RPGs and turn-based RPGs are both still RPGs. Like, I would absolutely make the argument that other stuff like Unicorn Overlord could be on this list as too. That's also an RPG.
I think that would be more suited for this list than these ones.
I can't agree with that, because then like the Kingdom Hearts games are absolutely also action RPGs. Like, you look at something like Dragon's Dogma 2 and Shadow of the Erdtree, and like you can fully design your character from the ground up and play them the way that you want. That's the epitome of role playing, beyond anything to do with story or anything like that. Like maybe Rebirth would be the one that would be the least appropriate for this list.
I feel like that would be more RPG, but it's just how you play it. Like
It's more JRPG than anything.
But,
like, you can't really...
Just Elden Ring and Dragon's Dogma, I feel like they more matter when it comes to reflexes than it does, like, decision-making.
In moment-to-moment gameplay, but you can still actually customize your character and have a build and everything. You
can build stuff, I guess.
You absolutely can. No guess. Like, that's absolutely correct. Like, a sorcery build versus a Faith Greatsword build are going to be two very different experiences. Like, yeah, you still have to be able to, like, dodge and everything, but, like, you have to just be able to time things in other situations and, like, have to have mechanical know-how for other types of games. It's not different just because you're dodging, you know?
Fair enough.
But, I mean, regardless, as far as voting is concerned, I, once again, can only vote for Shadow of the Erdtree, but what I know of all of these games, I also think Shadow of the Erdtree absolutely beats them all out. So, that's a pretty easy pick for me.
In terms of the gameplay experience I prefer the most, like, yeah, it would probably be Elden Ring.
Yeah, definitely. I know I need to play the Yakuza games at some point. I will have definitely have plenty of people yelling at me about that, but it hasn't happened yet. So, for now, we're moving on.
It's like Yakuza and Xenoblade ever since the channel started. Just, hey, Dom.
Yep, endless.
Dom.
Endless. And you know what? I totally respect it. I respect the hustle, and I do want to check those games out. I will keep saying it. It's just been like, my lord, I used to have time. I don't anymore. I don't know where it went.
Games.
Putting out a bounty. Find Tom's time. $500. Please return as soon as possible. Thank you.
I found it. It's when you're sleeping.
Oh, God, honestly, yeah. And I haven't even been doing that very well. Oh, Lord. Okay. Best action adventure. For the best action adventure game, combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. So I've not played any of these. I don't know that I would ever describe Silent Hill 2 as an action adventure game. Hold on.
There should be a horror category, because this is not that. Like, yes, there is puzzle solving. Yes, there is combat. I don't think that's what Silent Hill 2 is about.
That's not the focus at all. Also, everything I've heard about Star Wars Outlaws is that it's mid as fuck, so I feel like it probably also should not be up here. What?
All right,
the good goddamn...
Here's my thing. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink is like my favorite fucking game this year. That should take the place of Star Wars easily.
I would agree with that.
That is definitely a fantastic action adventure game.
Definitely. I would agree that it should replace that, even though I think you are mad for that take with that game, but that's a different discussion.
Dude. It's so good.
I have never bounced off of a game harder in the last 5 years.
I think you gotta give it another chance. Like, it's really good.
I mean, I can, but... Like,
if you like classic Platinum games, like short action campaigns, this is like those staff members, and they're part of Cygames Osaka, and they really put together something special.
I can certainly give it another shot. Maybe just that demo made for a really bad first impression, but it was a really bad first impression.
I know they scream a lot in the combat, but the combat's good.
It was.
You can pick other characters than just Gran.
I disagree with that assessment, but that's not what we're here to discuss today. We can have that discussion another time.
Okay, well, to spoil some stuff, though, it got snubbed in all categories, and I'm very upset about that.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Oh, man. I know it wouldn't be like Game of the Year or anything, but like, come on, action adventure at least. Like,
it should absolutely... Yeah, I agree. Regardless of my dislike for it, it should definitely be up here. Like, at the very least, it should be here over Silent Hill 2. Yeah, like, what the... What?
You see, it had lots of money behind it.
Oh, Lord. Okay. I can't vote for any of these. You want me to vote for something for you, sir?
I mean, Zelda.
Okay. Very good. That definitely feels like it suits its action adventure label as well. So that's good. I feel okay with that. Best action game. Okay. Black Myth Wukong, Call of Duty Blops 6 once again, Helldivers 2, Stellar Blade. Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
And then of course,
once
again, 40K
Warhammer
2. I mean, basically the same conversations before for me. I've played Helldivers 2. I've played Space Marine 2. Space Marine 2 has been the far more compelling experience, and like its campaign is awesome in every possible way. Like Helldivers 2 doesn't have a campaign.
Like, or Warhammer's campaign looked really good.
Oh yeah, it is really, really good. Like, if Helldivers 2 had some sort of campaign, it would be much more of a discussion here for me, but the combination of the multiplayer and the single-player campaign, it's got to be Warhammer for me. What would you wind up picking? Stellar Blade?
Yeah, probably. I might be inclined for Black Myth Wukong if I had actually played it. I have a friend who did, and I was like in Discord calls while he was playing it the whole time. He was telling me how cool it was. It sounded really great.
From what I've seen of it, it does look really good.
I wish I had more time and like, you know, some extra pocket money to pick it up and play it.
Right. Definitely.
It just seems like it has tons of like boss fights and content, and like it's really fun.
Yeah.
Stellar Blade though was really good. Like, not really many problems with it. I wasn't like, oh my god, I was blown away, but like it was just a great action game. If you like kind of tight Souls-ish combat and like little near overworld exploration and stuff, yeah, it's got all that. It's really and a good story too.
Okay, cool. I definitely need to check it out. I mean, I like all those things as you described, so it seems like it definitely deserves some time devoted to it. It's just, again, I need to find that. Remember, $500 bounty, find Tom's time, return ASAP, thank you. But like,
their like first game that isn't like a phone game thing, they did an excellent job.
Isn't it the Nike devs that made this?
Nikkei, yeah.
Oh, is it supposed to be? Is that how you're supposed to pronounce it?
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea. Fair enough.
Nike's a shoe company.
Well, I know that, obviously, but like I just always thought it like would be a similar pronunciation.
Oh, they're Nikkei.
Nikkei. Fair enough. I will keep that in mind for the next time a giant anime ass is shaking in my face. Okay, best mobile game for the best game playable on a mobile device. This is like the first time Genshin hasn't been on this list in years, but it's okay. So we have another Hoyoverse game here.
Doesn't it usually get like ongoing or something?
A lot of the time, but it's been in mobile.
I thought they were just counting the year it came out. I could be wrong. I don't remember all the past nominations, but
oh, maybe that is how they did that. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Regardless, we have AFK Journey, which I mean I've heard of, but we have Balatro, which I know is what's going to win. Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket, which like just appeared one day and apparently people really enjoy. Wuthering Waves. I always want to say Wuthering.
Wuthering Waves.
Wuthering Waves. The game that everyone gooned over for a month and I haven't heard about since. And then Zenless Zone Zero, which people have not stopped gooning over because, my God, is it a goon-worthy game.
I'm drawing fan art of it right now.
You are. This is true.
Actually, yeah.
And it looked, from what you posted on Twitter that I saw, it looks really good. So, hey.
That would be my pick. That's a fun game.
I need to try it out.
The combat feels really good.
I was wondering about that because, you know, Hoyoverse's combat can be a little hit or miss. But this, like, relies on it as an action game. So, yeah, I mean, I haven't played any of these. I've heard about Balatro is the most insanely addictive thing since the invention of methamphetamines.
Yeah, I have not played it or really watched it, but I just heard it's really addictive and really fun.
It seems like it's the Vampire Survivors of this year, and now it has a Vampire Survivors crossover. So, but since I haven't played any of these, I will default to you, and so it is going to be Zenless Zone Zero. There you are. Well done, Hoyoverse. Continue to put out bangers. Next up, we have... Oh, here's Best Ongoing. Okay.
Ongoing. Mostly the same. Destiny's here. What do you think?
This... well, that's exactly what I was about to talk about. This is an awkward one because I'm not going to lie. Alongside all the other really good stuff that I've played this year, Destiny 2 The Final Shape was incredible.
Stuck the landing, somehow.
It absolutely stuck the landing. The post-landing sinkhole that opened up beneath their feet after they stuck the landing is a different conversation. And that's why this is a bit of a difficult one for me. Because, like,
good,
yes.
It's not good.
Dude, yeah, for ongoing...
Everyone get fired.
For ongoing, I can't. Because it's gone directly into the core of the planet. But as an expansion... Final Shape was incredible, so it deserves an honorable mention for that, and hats off to all the devs who made that happen, whether you're still at the company or not, because god damn it, Bungie, and god damn it, Sony. But Yeah. I think as a result of that, I have to give it to Helldivers. Because, like, I have played a lot of Helldivers, and after they fixed all of, like, the nerf issues and things like that, like, apparently they've been putting out stuff that people have been really, really enjoying again. So I think they deserve it. They have positive sentiment now, unlike Destiny. So hey. Games for Impact.
No, I hadn't said my thing about ongoing.
Oh, okay. I didn't think you had anything you wanted to say. By all means, I'll go back. Go for it.
Because, like, I haven't really played these. That's the thing. But I'm like, man, Genshin should have been on here.
It is kind of funny that it's not.
I know. It's just... It's not just that, like, I love Genshin. I'm still playing it and stuff. But the last year of content, especially the ending of the last region, Fontaine, that is not just the best story they've had in Genshin, probably one of the best stories I've seen in any game in, like, a while. It was really freaking good.
I've heard that
last
a lot.
year
Yeah.
it was too late to get nominated, or like it was too late to be considered like part of the Game Awards kind of thing last year. So
you think they just kind of got like stuck in like a limbo period?
Yeah, and plus everything that's been coming out this year has been it's been great. Like they've kept it fresh and interesting, and they've added a lot of characters and stuff that haven't like completely annihilated the balance of the game, which is rare for something that's gone on this long.
Very true. Very true.
There's a few exceptions, but mostly like they've done a good job introducing things that don't like completely invalidate what players have already had.
Well, that's good to hear. I'm very happy about that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I will, again, if you find my time, I do intend to play more Genshin because I do actually really enjoy it. But
yeah. Also, the current region is shaping up to be just as good.
Okay, cool.
There's like a new patch coming out, I think, in a couple days. But then the last one they had, the last one they had was like really cool. It was like surprisingly dark for Genshin.
Ooh, I do like the sound of that. Very nice, very nice.
He died.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh boy.
Cool. Character death is good. It drives stories forward.
People died, Paimon cried.
Oh boy. Well, that's never a good sign. Okay, well, yeah, sorry, I didn't realize that you have something to say.
Yeah, sorry. No, I should have said something.
No, you're good, you're good. I'm skipping this one. I'm assuming you would like to do the same?
Oh, yeah, I got nothing to add.
All right, moving on. So now we have innovation in accessibility. Recognizing software and hardware is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience.
Dragon Age got a nomination.
Yeah, man. Listen, I'm glad that there's something that Dogwater games like Star Wars Outlaws and Dragon Age: The Veilguard can be nominated for, because they sure ain't got anything else that they're contributing to society. It really is telling that you've got your latest Blops entry. You've got Diablo 4, which I've heard is good, but I mean, it's a Blizzard game, so I can't give it any respect these days. The new Dragon Age that everyone but the most diehard of fans seem to hate, and a lot of the most diehard of fans hate as well. Star Wars Outlaws, which is the most milquetoast, middle-of-the-road Star Wars release we've had since the last milquetoast, middle-of-the-road Star Wars release. And then Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown.
Prince of Persia, he liked it. He said it was good. It was a good Metroidvania.
Exactly. That's why I skipped over it and saved it for last, because I've heard really good things about The Lost Crown. It's a damn shame that its studio team got shut down and shuffled to other Ubisoft slop projects.
That is too bad.
At least we have accessibility, because God forbid we actually have a good game, right?
I think Prince of Persia got nominated for, like, action adventure or something.
It did, yeah, it did.
Yeah,
We saw it before. So
once again, how strange.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Or sorry, best RPG.
Yeah. Well, from everything I've heard about it, there's not much role to play there other than just make friends simulator. So, yeah, I can't vote on any of these.
Like co-workers than friends.
Well, yeah. It's like making friends with your coworkers at the water cooler, and then maybe you kind of have a faux romance with one. So, woohoo! Very exciting. Good job, BioWare. Very proud of you. Please don't even bother with the new Mass Effect. Save us all the pain.
Don't bother.
All right, best score and music. All these games I haven't played, and let me tell you, Unicorn Overlord should be on this fucking list.
Sure should, huh?
Oh my god, Unicorn Overlord should be on here. You boot up the tutorial stage and get blasted by one of the best tracks in gaming in the last decade. My god. All right, well, I'm not going to repeat the same line again. Canadia, tell me your thoughts. What do you think?
This was one that people were saying, like, where's Persona 3? And it's like, it's just the same songs, but worse. I mean, what?
Oh, no. I just expected the same songs, not worse.
I don't know, too. It was, like, reorchestrated. It was still the same composer, but I didn't like how it sounded as much.
Fair, fair.
Yeah, that's just me. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That's got to be, like, one of the most incredibly huge soundtracks to any game ever. Like, because it's every Final Fantasy VII song, right?
Like, everyone.
But yeah, all of them. But, like, then they're reorchestrated for different, like, heights in the battles.
Oh,
for every,
yeah.
like, region you're in out of, like, the 8 or so regions of that game, there's different, like, different versions and compositions of, like, the da 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 da.
Right.
And, like, there's so many, like, there's so much work into it, right? I almost got kind of sick of it playing it, though, because it's like an 80-hour game, and you're still hearing dun, dun, dun. And I'm like, oh my god.
Fair.
But then there's some, like, really cool standout original songs, too.
Oh, nice.
Do you remember that one girl that was in the first remake game? The one that looks like a Nomura Twowy character? With, like, the little hat and the buttons. And,
oh,
like,
yeah. She's from the Shinra short story.
She has her own theme music now.
Oh, cool.
That she sings.
Oh, no kidding.
When you're
nice.
on a quest with her, and it's, like, really catchy and fun.
Nice.
And it's little touches like that I'm like, that's super cool.
That is really cool. That is really, really cool.
So I think that one's probably going to win. Metaphor has, like, such a banging battle theme that song kicks ass.
I mean, it's Atlas, right? Like, their music is
the other songs
renowned.
are... I feel like it's kind of lacking from Persona, though.
Oh,
like,
really?
They're okay, but they're... Something kind of got on my nerves over and over.
Okay.
They were missing, like, those vocalized lyrics that I really like from Persona.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just kind of like, eh. But that battle theme fucking slaps. It's so good.
Nice.
I can listen to that over and over, and, like, that one's good. Stellar Blade had a great soundtrack, actually.
Okay, nice. Love to hear
Like, it had, like, really nice, I don't know, vibes where, like, you're in, like, a rainy city and this very, like, soft melodic music is coming in with, like, vocals and stuff. Obviously very Nier inspired. Had some really cool boss themes, too.
Nice, okay.
Like, that was a good soundtrack. I think that deserved to be on here. And Astrobot I haven't played.
Right. So, with that in mind, then, what would you vote for?
Man.
Because this is your vote, not mine.
I don't know, because I'm like, man, Stellar Blade, that's original music, and then Final Fantasy VII, it's like, it's great music, and they did a lot of work on it, but it's like old music, you know?
Right.
I think just for all the extra effort and how much I took notice of it, though, Final Fantasy VII.
All right. I mean, it definitely seemed...
They went above and beyond, like, any soundtrack I've heard in a game. It's crazy. Like, maybe Smash Bros. Or something, but...
Right. And I think that definitely counts for something. Like, reworking and making new something that has existed for a long time and is already beloved and doing it well, that counts for a lot. So...
Final Fantasy VII Remake won, like, that year when it came out for Best Soundtrack. And, like,
that game is phenomenal,
it's all the work they put into that and more, you know?
Right, absolutely. Continuing to iterate on what they already had, even. Okay, we are 2/3 of the way through here, which is good because I have work in the morning. So
Oh, sorry, we're going long.
Yep, we're gonna keep it moving along at a brisk pace here for the rest of it. So, best art direction, outstanding creative and technical achievement in artistic design and animation. So, I mean, once again, I've only played Shadow of the Erdtree. The visuals of Shadow of the Erdtree are fucking incredible, though. Like, running through the Land of Shadow is like the most awesome visual experience I've had thus far, anyway, in all of Elden
I like
Ring.
the enemies a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know about the environments. Also, they're super friggin' dark sometimes, and I'm like...
See, I love
can't
that,
see
though.
shit.
I love that, though.
But then you get to areas like... Wait, I'm not sure if you got there yet. It's the place with all the coffins. The underground place with all the coffins. I'm not gonna say what it is in
Yeah, I
case
don't
you
think
want
I've
to
gotten
visit.
there yet, actually.
But that is like a really jaw-dropping vista that only FromSoft can really do.
Well, and I'm thinking like the view out over the dragon peaks with the like gigantic dragon corpse draped over everything.
Yeah, stuff like that's really cool.
Insane. Like the castles are like just amazing as always, and just like the field of ethereal tombstones just all over the place just floored me. So
yeah, that's also a really great visual.
yeah,
I think Wukong had a lot of like amazing art in it.
that it did. Yeah,
Like,
from
I
what
wish I had actually played it. Like every time I saw it, I was like, "Holy crap! Look at all that stuff that they're animating."
yeah, from what I've seen, it definitely looked absolutely incredible for sure, no doubt. And then I mean, Metaphor is obviously very stylish as well because it's Atlas.
Well, this is what I want to say about Metaphor. This is maybe a hot take.
Oh boy, here we go. Hot takes. Let's go.
I think it has like nice character design, and then like a lot of like the monsters, like the ones you see on the marketing, like the really grotesque looking ones, they look cool. There's only about like 8 of them in the game though. There's not many. The rest are just fantasy monsters: dragons, goblins, orcs, wolves. And it's like, okay. But the main thing that I think is holding this game back is the environments look bad.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not just saying like, oh, they don't blow me away. I mean, they actually look bad. And I think it takes away from the art direction of this game a lot.
Okay, all right. Fair
There's this
enough.
moment where you go to the ocean town with all your party members, and there's like a big animated like anime style animated cutscene, and they're like, "Look, it's the ocean! Wow!" And then it goes to the in-game graphics, and I'm like, "Oh god!"
Oh, I see.
It's like an old PS3 engine, but like still, it's just so many repeating textures and like ugly looking.
Gotcha. I understand.
Locales and yeah.
The visual picture that you're painting for me in my mind's eye, I suddenly have an idea. Yeah.
The character designs are nice. Not my favorite they've done. And I like the gauntlet runners. Those are those big like mechanical things they ride around.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those look cool. They're a little unique, but those environments though, what the hell?
Yeah, once I finally get around to playing it, I'll have to check it out for myself and see how much of an impact it has on me. But yeah, definitely for me, again, it's the only thing I played, so it's got to be Shadow of the Erdtree, but it's just 150% my jam anyway. So that's what I'm going to vote for, but what would you pick, Canadia?
I don't know. I haven't played Wukong. I'm kind of inclined to like say that, but I played Erdtree, so that one.
I mean, visual design of a game is one of those things I think you can judge more and like more without necessarily having played it. Like,
yeah, I need to see more of it. To be honest.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay. Best narrative. Once
oh
again,
boy,
I have not played any of these. Okay. All right.
Silent Hill 2 again.
Yeah, Silent Hill 2, which I mean that's
Silent Hill 2 is one of the best stories in games 20 years ago.
Is it changed at all in this version? Do they do anything?
It's the same. They add some extra filler stuff, but no, it's still the same story.
Okay. So then Mr. I have played so many more games that are relevant to the Game Awards than Tom this year. Tell me,
made an effort this year.
Yeah, absolutely, and I've been deep in the indie turn-based strategy sea, so because it has become a sea somehow miraculously instead of the puddle it used to be.
Right.
So tell me, Rebirth, Refantasio, short and snappy.
God, Rebirth doesn't do what they promised in Remake. They don't change up the story enough in my taste.
Okay.
Like, it just feels like just a retelling of the original with extra stuff, which is like such a letdown.
Okay.
Refantasio is just kind of okay. The plot has some fun twists and stuff, but the main party that you were hanging out with and spending time with, they don't really grow or learn much as characters. They are very nice and good, and they stay nice and good, and they don't really have any internal problems or stuff to overcome like they did in Persona.
I see.
Also, so I'm like, they both kind of let me down. I don't know.
Fair. I also need to point out that this is definitely a you problem and not a person who entered this into the website problem. It is Metaphor Refantasio. Thank you very much, sir.
Oh shit! It doesn't have the dash anymore.
Yeah, they dropped the dash and added a whole ass letter that doesn't belong.
Oh my god. Refantanzio.
Refantanzio. Yep. Yep.
I think they misspelled it on their official tweet too.
Oh, did it? My guys, come on now. It's not that hard. Like, I know it's a more complicated word than usual, but like, geez.
The anime one, whatever.
Yeah. Who cares? All right, we can't tangent. We can't tangent. Focus. Rebirth or Refantanzio? What do you think?
Neither. I don't like them.
Should I just skip?
I don't know. Like a Dragon. I heard it was good.
All right, we're voting for Like a Dragon. Let's go. We're moving on. Oh, hey, there's 6 categories, or like 6 entries this time.
As we're in Best Game Direction.
Okay, okay. Outstanding Creative
Second to last
Vision
one, I
Innovation. Did you say except for the second to last one?
No, I think this is the second to last one. Because Game Direction and Game of the Year.
Oh, because there's ones that we okay, I was like, on my screen it says votes cast 22 of 29, but it's like...
We didn't vote all of them, though.
Right. I was reading that as just, this is how many are left to go. Okay. All right, so we have Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor Refantasio. There we go. They have the end not... they didn't double up on the ends.
We're copying pasting, I guess.
Yeah, I guess not, which, I mean, interesting choice, but... So, once again, I can only vote for Shadow of the Erdtree. But
yeah,
there's some options here, man. Like, just from what I know of these games, there's some options here, for sure.
This is where it's kind of come to the DLC thing, though, where it's just like... Would you not just replace Elden Ring with Unicorn Overlord if you could?
I mean, I would replace Astrobot with Unicorn Overlord, but...
Yeah.
I think,
no.
I think, again, it comes down to what I was saying before about, like, they took what they had before and then added new things and changed things and made it a better experience, knowing that it was an expansion for an existing game, and actually thinking about, like, people are going to have insane busted meta builds and all sorts of different stuff. Mm-hmm. So how do we design, how do we direct an experience that will be similar to the OG experience for them, even if they are an 8,000-hour power gamer who has mastered every challenge that is possible to exist in the base game? That's an aspect of direction, and I think they deserve credit for that.
Okay, here's my problem with Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, right?
Sure.
Because you have not, like, finished it.
Correct.
That final boss was not good on release. Like, they did a bad job. And I was arguing with people for a while that they did a bad job, and people were like, no, get good. And it's like, no, I beat it, and I beat it without cheese and everything. It's just not a good fight.
I see.
And then they went back and they patched it and they fixed all the things I had problems with. But that first experience was not fun and not really that good.
I see.
And like it's a real sticking point for me of just like, yeah, they've pushed this design in some directions that I don't feel are that good or conducive to the Souls-like formula. Mm-hmm. And it's not my favorite from them. Like, I think their other DLCs are better than it. But like standing on top of all these ones, like it's still really good.
Right.
So it's hard. I don't know. This is my thing with the Game Awards this year, where I'm just like, everything kind of let me down in some way, except for like Unicorn Overlord and Grand Blue Fantasy Relink.
Right. Absolutely.
So I'm kind of like, I don't know what to vote for. Like, you know, the thing we did for Best Narrative. I'm like,
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I think at the end of the day, right, if you just have to, like, buckle down and vote for one of the things that you played.
Yeah, gun to my head.
Yeah, even if it was not your favorite and you have issues with it, just comparing, I guess, the 3 here.
It would probably still be Elden Ring.
Okay.
The fucking Souls boy. I will say Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, though, like, besides the story, like, the gameplay, wait, no, okay. Besides the story, the combat is really great. They did some amazing things to that. All the environments are spectacular.
Mm-hmm. That's from what I've seen, absolutely, yeah.
But then it has a lot of downtime, fillery, AAA kind of like, talk to a guy. You know, Final Fantasy 16, right?
Mm-hmm.
Between all the really hype parts where you're doing quests,
mm-hmm.
just as much of that in this game.
Okay. Gotcha.
So that's what you're getting into.
Gotcha. Okay.
Even more probably because the game's gigantic. It's like 80 hours.
Yeah, this is a very, very short side tangent, really quick, but just because it puts it in perspective. I know, complaining so much about how I've lost all of my time, and yet I decided randomly on a whim to start a playthrough of Mass Effect 1 the other day.
What the fuck?
Listen, man, my brain works in mysterious ways, and I probably have more than one undiagnosed mental illness, but like...
Now we know why he hasn't been streaming, guys.
No, trust me, I would not be streaming at 8 in the morning, which is pretty much the only time I've been playing that, but...
People would watch. I'm just...
You're not wrong.
You don't have that energy.
I don't have that energy, and it's like I have an hour while I'm like eating and digesting. I'm gonna play a little bit of Mass Effect and then go do what I gotta do. But I looked it up for context, and it's like, oh yeah, like all side content included, Mass Effect 1 is like 35 hours.
Oh my god, really? I thought it was way longer than that.
It's like, because it's like
I've been holding off on that series.
It's like if you do just the main story stuff, it's like 20.
Jeez.
It's nuts, but it's like I feel it. Because I've been playing, I'm like, holy crap, I'm already this far in. I've already got this many levels. I've already done all, like this much stuff. I'm having these conversations with characters already. Oh my god. That's what made me look it up, and it was like, oh wow, design has changed.
Other Tree took me like 40 hours on stream to beat, and I got mostly everything that.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just
Metaphor took me 80, and then like another 20 to 100%.
Right.
Rebirth took me 80 to beat, and I haven't gone back to it because the ending sucked that bad. Like actually just killed all my like excitement to go back.
I know, I can't wait to play it.
I had like 1 or 2 side quests to finish off, and I'm just like, nah, maybe later.
I can't wait to play it. Inevitably love it just because the universe likes to laugh at us and then have us butt heads over it for the rest of eternity.
Unicorn Overlord though, like I'm halfway through and I want to play it again already.
It's
really good.
There's a magic there, man. Absolutely. But can't get too bogged down in the weeds here. We have to move on to
do we though?
Game of the year. We do, because I have to get ready for bed.
No, but look at it. Like,
I mean,
it's the same fucking discussion, Tom.
Well, yeah.
It's all the same nominee. Do you see why like this is pointless?
Yeah, it is literally the exact same nominees in the exact same order. So
this is stupid. This is so stupid.
So
what are we doing, Jeff?
Okay, so hear me out. I will give them credit for there's a big difference between the overall package of Game of the Year versus game direction. Like, you can direct a game like the most directoriest director to ever direct a project and still have all of its parts fall through because you don't have a good team, or like you just don't have the skill to make it all come together or whatever, right?
Yeah, I get. You know, in that case, FF7 gets best game direction.
Oh yeah, okay, fair.
And then Elden Ring for Game of the Year.
Well, and I do think that's fair, right? Because it's like,
because my problems with the narrative aside, like the presentation and the gameplay. Well, there were all those downtime things though. It just might still go to Elden Ring actually.
And so, but that's kind of the point that I'm making, right? Because like the existence of the downtime things, that is like a directive, like a director's choice thing that could be judged as like good, bad, whatever. Whereas like a narrative thing that you do or don't like can be a lot more subjective. Obviously, I don't know what it was, and I don't want you to tell me, so I can't really speak to this example. But like, narrative is a much more subjective thing, as opposed to we're going to inject 80 side quests into this game. Like,
but I mean, the director is just as much in charge of that as they are with the rest of the game.
Well, they are, absolutely, but like, you're talking about the way a project was handled versus how that project came together, and I think that's the big difference between the two categories. Because on the flip side, you could have a game that had absolutely awful direction that still managed to be really good for some reason. You know, like that. Those types of miracles do happen. So I think it stands that there's, even if they're the same games in two different categories, that they are two different categories.
That's nagging me though, because like, what if Black Myth is like better directed? It's just I haven't played it.
Well, I mean, that's any of these categories.
I have problems with the other ones.
Sure, but that's anything here. Like, yeah, any of these options we haven't played could be the best in the category, but we haven't played it, so like, it's a
it's too bad.
It's a non-issue, you know, it's a nothing burger. So, yeah, that said, I can only vote for Shadow of the Erd Tree.
I guess so, yeah.
That is literally my only choice. So
It's a DLC.
yeah, I mean, and again, like, that's avoiding the whole discussion of that. Like, again, it's the only one that I've played, so it's the only one I have any right to vote for.
Given the plate put in front of us.
Yeah, I think it works.
Yeah, I gotta choose the thing I like.
I think, yeah, that's what it comes down to, man. It's not that serious.
Grand Blue Fantasy should be on here, and the show should Unicorn over.
No to the first one, yes to the second one. Let's go.
No, yes to
for
both.
Disunity.
Yes to both.
So yeah, apologies to the viewers for me not having as much experience with all of these games, but the people who are most likely watching this are the people who are here for the content that I do, and so you're probably on the same boat of, yeah, I haven't fucking played a lot of these games. So, but thank you for being here, Canadia. I'm happy with my choices. Most of them I had to make, but still I'm happy to have seen what I saw. Unicorn Overlord absolutely got majorly snubbed for a lot of categories that it should have been in. Should have been up for, like, audio. Should have been up for direction, definitely. Should have been up for Game of the Year. It's very frustrating to see such an incredible game get so obviously snubbed, even though I knew it was going to.
And so many others get like 5 or 6 nominations over and over.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just how the Game Awards always are, so.
I know, but like it's a problem that they should be fixing, and they're not. They're making it worse.
Yes, but now we are just old men shaking fist at Cloud.
No, this is a real problem.
No,
But thank you for having me on here at least, and letting me blab about all my opinions and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure some of these people like really like stuff like Metaphor and Final Fantasy more than I did. And
well, I mean, yeah.
I'm sorry if that really makes you guys like upset with me. It's how I felt about them.
Honesty is the best policy, dude.
If you think they're like your game of the year, then yeah, vote for them for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, you will definitely see what happens. The thing that makes this interesting to me, as kind of like my closing thought, is that even though Shadow of the Erd Tree is up here, and I feel like it's likely to win, there's options this year. Like, I know Astrobot blew people out of the water. I know Balatro blew people out of the water. I know Black Myth Wukong blew people out of the water. Like, all of these games...
Final Fantasy 7 still blew me out of the water.
Yeah.
It's just like,
all of these games have had a major impact, except for maybe ReFantazio. And, like, I know there's a very dedicated fan base for that game, and I'm not saying that it, like, isn't
people
a good
really
game.
love it and are really yelling for it to be Game of the Year. To me, it's like Persona 5, but not as good. Which is already enough. Persona 4, but not as good.
Now you're being old man shake fist at Cloud.
No, but, like, man, it's just... They got potential. They just need to, like, seize it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I think I'm happy that it feels like everything up here, except maybe Metaphor, is deserving of the win if it gets it. And that's very different from past years. So I'm happy about that, even if some of the things that should be up here are not. I'll absolutely give them that.
It Takes Two one over Metroid.
It Takes Two. Yeah, that was a whole thing.
Remember when Overwatch won Game of the Year?
That was a travesty. But yeah, so I think we're going to wrap this one up here, guys. Again, thank you for being here, Canadia. Very much appreciated. I will...
Thank all you guys for listening to us.
Yes, absolutely. You'll be hearing a trimmed-down version a bit, but good discussion overall, and I will endeavor to have this out, hopefully, well, when you're seeing this. Tomorrow would be the day that you're seeing it, hopefully. Tomorrow from the day we're recording this, but we'll see if I actually pull that off.
Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you. Until the next time, though, everyone, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a good night. Stay safe and healthy out there. And remember, be good to each other. Bye now, everybody.
Bye.